So, I think we all have that one homie that's basically your ride or die, your partner in crime, the Luigi to your Mario. And for me, mine is my wife, Brandis. Or it was, until she divorced me in 2011 and left me taking care of my whack son Gyro on alternate weekends. Little man is 18 years old, and instead of having the good sense to leave me alone to enjoy the apartment I pay for with the alimony I get from Brandis, he keeps asking me for the keys to my car so he can go to school or whatever he does all day. And even when he's with his moms, he keeps bugging me by posting Bowser memes on my timeline, even after I told him I only use social media to talk to other divorced adults about SMG4, the Australian adult computer animated science fiction machinima situation comedy web series. And even during the precious 26 days a month when I get some alone time, I still don't get a break because my corny, no Rizz having neighbor Frederick is always on my about giving him back his riding mower. Like, bruh, I've only had it for 2 years. Get off my bruh. And just when I thought my life couldn't get any harder, my SMG4 mutual Mario X Meggy 1982 invited me to his second wedding. And when he did, he said, I'll just assume you're bringing a +1 because you're always telling me you're a Rizz God. Oh, and the wedding? It was only 2 weeks away. But the thing is, when I said I was a Rizz God, I was straight up capping. But the thing is, when I said I was a Rizz God, I was straight up Hello?
Yes, I'm calling from a collection agency to let you know that your electrical
I'm sorry,
bill
I can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of making a video about rizzing and capping.
I'm sorry, what?
Flirting and lying. And what's this about?
Yes, I'm calling to inform you that your electrical bill is
Well,
over
I'll pay the electrical bill once I earn YouTube revenue from animating my story about rizzing and capping. Goodbye. Okay, so anyway, the closest thing to a relationship I've had since getting divorced is the one with my life-size cutout of Meggy from SMG4. I'd only said I was a Rizz God with no trouble dating because the last thing I wanted to do with my SMG4 lore mutuals was go off topic by discussing the challenges of dating in our 40s. So instead of being honest and just replying that I wasn't dating anybody, I tried to be slick about it and was like, yeah, of course I'll have a date. Oh, by the way, Mario X Meggy 1982, how do you meet your fiance? Because I'm writing some Mario smut and was looking for ideas for the stories. And my boy was like, we met on a dating site called over40singles.com. And I was like, bro, why would you admit that? You're basically saying you have negative Rizz, Mario X Meggy. And he was like, okay, anyway, at the wedding, it might be better if you referred to me by my real name, Terrence, and not as Mario X Meggy. And I was like, hey man, let's keep this discussion to SMG4 lore so he wouldn't say any more weird personal stuff to me. And then went and signed up for the Over 40 Singles dating site, thinking that even though I'm not really a Rizz God, it should be no problem to pull an over 40 single girlfriend, since I have the one thing all women in their 40s want, an extensive knowledge of fan-made Mario web series lore. I made a dope profile and started rizzing up the first baddie I saw in there, who happened to be my ex-wife, Brandis. I told her that if she came to the wedding with me, I would let her look at my private Mario X Meggy fan art stash. I'm talking about the stuff that's too NSFW even to post on my 18+ timeline. And sure enough, not 10 minutes after sliding into her inbox, I got my reply. So, yo, what? I promised to show you my fan art stash. You really want to miss out on exclusive Mario smut? Blocked. Hey, what's this? My son left his phone unlocked here and it's blowing up with messages from a dating app called Bumble. So I quickly sent a message. Yo, what's up? My Bumble app is glitching. Can you just email me at fishyboopkins1979@hotmail.com? And I barely had enough time to press send on that when my son saw me and was like, yo, Dad, what are you doing on my phone? I was using it because, I don't have TikTok on mine, and, I heard there was a lot of good TikToks on TikTok. Here, look at this TikTok. It's got all kinds of crazy sensory stimulation going on. And as soon as he grabbed his phone back, I quickly hopped on my email, and sure enough, there it was. A message from my potential future date. She went by the name GamerGirl XOXO and wanted to know what I was up to this weekend, and said she was planning on catching up on some new indie games. So I wrote a long and detailed response about how I was going to spend the weekend organizing my collection of Mario smut. But then I thought, I already tried rizzing up my ex-wife by bragging about my Mario smut collection, and it didn't work. So I deleted my whole reply and opened up my Lenovo ThinkPad's copy of Microsoft Word 2004 and composed a longer, more personal response about my dog-ass neighbor Frederick and how much I hated him. But the battery on my ThinkPad died before I could save it. Once my laptop was charged back up, I looked at her message again and decided I should just play it safe by going along with her interests. So I was like, indie games? Yeah, I love indie games too. And she was like, yeah, I know, I read your bio. Which ones are your favorite? And then it hit me. I was gonna need some Rizz help from the actual author of that bio, my son. So I was like, yo, Gyro, what would you say if you were trying to rizz up a gamer girl who's into indie games? And he was like, please don't say Rizz again. And I was like, okay, well, what indie games would you say you were into if you were trying to pitch woo to a gamer girl? And he was like, what gamer girl are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, this gamer girl I met on over40singles.com. He was like, well, you should talk about Sea of Stars. It's really cool because it's basically like a retro RPG. And I was like, yeah. Can you just type that up here on my Lenovo ThinkPad and make sure to hit save frequently because my free copy of Microsoft Word 2004 doesn't have autosave. So after that, I sent the message my son wrote, and guess what? The gamer girl wrote back like, yo, that's what's up. And I was like, want to meet up this weekend? And she was like, sure. And I was like, want to go to Club 2000 downtown? And she was like, I think you have to be 21 to get in there. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's where I met my ex-wife. And then she just left me on red. So yeah, I got ghosted. I ended up going back on over40singles.com and meeting a few dates, but none of them wanted to talk about Mario smut or hear about how I was only meeting up with them because I got turned down by both my ex-wife and a girl who's too young to get into a nightclub. And pretty soon, there were only 3 days left until the wedding, so I'm ashamed to admit, I gave up. I sat down to email my homie Mario X Terrence, to let him know I would not be attending his wedding with a date. And then it happened. Gamer Girl XOXO finally wrote me back. She said she wanted to meet me at her house. I couldn't believe my luck. I mean, if she was willing to invite me over for date number 1, there was no way she wouldn't want to go with me to a wedding. But since time was running out, I didn't want to take a chance. So I told Gyro that I needed help rizzing up, pitching woo, to a gamer girl, since, as I mentioned, I'm not exactly a Rizz God. So we came up with a plan where I would show up wearing his gaming headset connected to my phone so he could hear everything she said and help me respond with his best gamer Rizz. I headed out to meet her, and when I showed up at her house, I put my son's headset on and I started having this feeling like I'd been there before. When she opened the door, she was like, sorry it took me so long to get to the door. I was just playing Sea of Stars, and I wanted to have something good to say back to her, so I said to Gyro, she just said she was playing Sea of Stars, what should I say back? And she was like, are you having someone come up with things for you to say to me through your gaming headset? And I was like, no, you're crazy for that one, hang on. What's that, Gyro? And then my homie Gyro came through with the Rizz. He had me say, wow, Sea of Stars, which... hang on a second. Character... hang on a second. Are you... just a minute. Playing... sorry, hang on, Gyro, can you repeat that? As... which character are you playing as? And she was like, Valair. And I was like, Gyro? Hello, Gyro. Great. I don't have a signal. And she was like, are you sure you aren't having someone tell you what to say to me through that headset? And also, like, how old are you? And I was like, what should I say? Hello, Gyro, how old should I say I am? Come on, bro, I'm about to fumble the bag. And then I heard it. Why don't you say you're old enough to be her father? Except it wasn't coming from my headset. It was coming from her actual father. And that's when I realized why this house looked so familiar. Her father was my neighbor Frederick. And he was all like, where's my riding mower? And then I heard Gyro again through my headphones and he was like, I got you, bro. We're gonna prank Frederick's corny. Say you gave his riding mower to Joe. And so I was like, I gave it to Joe. And Frederick was like, Joe who? And Gyro was like, Joe. And then he cut out again. So I was just like, Joe McManus. And Frederick was like, who's that? And then, I'm not gonna lie, I ran out, bro. And so, I was back where I started, with no date for my homie's second wedding. That's right, I was gonna make my Mario adult fan animation Mutual's wedding awkward by showing up alone after promising him I was bringing a date. But then it hit me. A +1 to a wedding doesn't need to be a date. It should just be someone important to you that you want to share a special life milestone with. For example, that adult son you really should have spent more time with when he was growing up. Or, in my case, a life-size cutout of Meggie from SMG4. And while I was politely asked to leave Terrence's wedding after showing up with her, the whole experience made me realize that trying to meet people through online dating just meant focusing on some narrow aspects of your personality like looks or hobbies, instead of really getting to know someone before trying a date. And that's why I decided I should try to meet women my own age in a more natural environment. Yeah, I'm talking about Roblox. And no, I am not capping. Hello?
This is your final notice. Your electrical service is being shut off as
Got
of...
to be capping.
I'm sorry, what?
Lying. You gotta be lying.
No, I'm not.
But I said I was gonna pay you after I get the YouTube revenue from telling my stories, and then I'm gonna put little stick figure.